So, you've picked Ikalis, then. He's the smartest person I know. And I'm sure that if there's someone that knows where to look for clues, it's him. Speaking of that, could you please tell him to come? His ears drop, and he tucks his tail between his legs. It pains my heart to see him like this, but this is too important for me. I need someone more trustworthy by my side. Especially to give me directions, as I know nothing about the higher city. Is there a reason you want to come, buddy? Zack looks away again, making me sigh in defeat. We really need to work on this kid's social skills, but one thing at a time. It's okay if you don't want to tell me, but I would really appreciate it. It's just that it would be very lonely without you around, sir. My heart shrinks a little as I hear him say those words. I didn't think it would be such a huge deal for him. Maybe I'm being a tad insensitive with him. After all, we've grown quite close this past month. So I can understand why he would feel left out. I can't let his puppy eyes convince me, though. This is serious business, and he is a kid. And, as patronizing as that sounds, it's the truth. I need to think of something to make him feel better, though. I don't like to see him like this. Say, how about you make me a scarf? It'll give you something to do while I come back. Besides, seeing you make all those cool sweaters made me feel a little jealous. The dog's tail starts to wag as he listens to me. Looks like that managed to cheer him up, at least a little. I would love to make you one, master. Anyway, I shouldn't waste more of your time. I'll let them know that you want to meet them. If you'll excuse me. He bows and leaves before I can say a word. The dog seems genuinely excited about the whole scarf thing, and I can't help but smile to myself. The little guy has been a great help so far. Making him happy is the least that I can do. He helped me organize my belongings, take care of my dirty clothes, readies the bathroom, keeps the room tidy, and schedules my daily activities. Sometimes I even think that I'm overworking him, but he insists that this is what he's supposed to do. And let me tell you, as tiny as he looks, he's quite the stubborn one. I chuckle to myself and then rest my head on a pillow. My whole body demands some rest, but I can't give it what it wants just yet. After all, I can't go to sleep without dealing with him first. This could be the most important step in finding out what happened to my little sister. The king knew something, didn't he? From what I gathered, he knows the symbol has a special meaning. But same as me, he doesn't know what it is. Or that's what he wants me to think. He could be lying, but what would the reason for that be? Wouldn't make much sense for me to bring one of the other retainers with me if this is a trap. There are so many things that I still don't know, both from my allies and enemies. All is a blur at this point, and I can't get rid of the feeling that this whole thing is much bigger than just a missing kid. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be easy, but now that the king is involved, feels like the closer I get, the messier it all becomes. My only choice is to keep moving forward, but what if? My head starts to hurt a little and I decide to drop that thought for now. I have more than enough time to think about it tomorrow. Ugh, that fight with Eddie really left a lasting impression on me. I drop the medal on the bed and then stand up from it. Some cold water could do me some good. So I walk towards the barreled place in the corner of my room. I take some of the water with my hands and splash it on my face. The headache vanishes as I even my breathing, hearing the water dripping from my face into the barrel. You don't look so good. I jump in place as I hear the wolf talk. He's standing by the door, Zack a few steps behind him. I offer them a smile as I dry up with my shirt. What do you mean? I've never been better. Ikalis rolls his eyes and then offers me an accusatory look. I shrug it off as I offer him a seat, which he takes. We both sit by my desk and then I let Zack know that he can leave. The little dog bows shyly and closes the door behind him as he leaves. I must admit, I was surprised that you asked me to come. I figured that you would be sleeping by now. I would if I could, but I really need to talk to you. Well, what is it? You know I'm a busy person. Trust me, if this wasn't important, I wouldn't make you waste your time. He tilts his head and looks at me with a curious expression. You see, the king asked me to do something. Something important. He, wants me to run some errands and I need your help. We would be leaving for the city early in the morning, and once we are there, we would stay the night at an inn. Then the next day, we would run the rest of the errands and make it back to the castle by dinner. The wolf listens closely to what I have to say, taking it all in as he nods a few times. I finish, and he sighs deeply, placing his hand on his chin as he leans on his desk. Ikalis keeps his eyes on the moon, his expression unreadable. As per usual, I have no idea what is going on through his head. Did the king order this? Yes. Specifically for me. He throws me some daggers with his eyes, those big blue eyes that I used to think were cold. Ah, dang it. I shouldn't have asked him after all. He probably is pissed because I'm wasting his time. It's just that, after all we've been through, I thought he would be more willing to help me. Guess I was wrong. No, not really. He sighs once more and then looks back at me with conflicted eyes. I'm not trying to be mean, it's just that I was hoping to get some extra work done tomorrow. And you could ask literally anyone else if you need a guide. My ears drop as he says that, and I can notice that he feels bad for blowing me off. But I can't give up like this. Maybe if I explain the situation better? I need your help with something more important. The errands are just a cover-up. There is something else I must do. It's a task that the king asked me personally to do. That seems to pique his curiosity because he looks at me with a suspicious look and a raised eyebrow. Alright, what is it? Seems like I managed to convince him to give me a chance, and that perked up my mood. I can't hide my wagging tail, but I make my best effort to control it. Okay, so hang on. Standing up from my chair, I rush back to the bed and quickly bring back the old medal. I pass it on to him, and he takes it, inspecting it with the utmost care. Mind explaining? He asks, turning his eyes from me to the medal a few times, probably feeling a little confused. So, this is the medal that the king took from me the day that I was arrested. It has a special meaning to me. I stop in my tracks, not wanting to tell more than I should to the wolf. He may be a very good friend, but how much can I really trust him in this situation? Will he betray me somehow if he gets enough information, or will he just abandon me if I prove too difficult to handle? Those questions scare me a little, so I decide to take a step back and think my words properly. And, apparently it has a meaning for the king as well. We both don't know what this is, or where to start looking. So I thought you could help me? You're the most knowledgeable guy around, and I was kinda hoping... He allows me to speak my mind, listening to my speech without ever saying a word. When I'm done, he takes a last glance towards the medal before standing up. He then places the medal on my chest and waits for me to grab it. He breaks eye contact and takes a few steps ahead of me. I trail him with my eyes, but say nothing. Why is he making this way harder than it needs to be? Is that really necessary? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you still owe me a candy, right? I guess I can go with you, so that you can properly pay your debt. He smirks as he turns around. He made that on purpose. Such a jerk. My tail begins to wag like crazy either way, as I'm feeling quite relieved now that I got the response that I wanted. Really? You mean it? Thank you, man, you're the best! His cheeks turn a little red, and that's because He's terrible at taking compliments. It's nothing. The king requested this, after all. Besides, you would get lost easily by yourself. I just know it. Would be like leaving a lost puppy to wander around on his own. Hey, it's not like that. I could probably do just fine. If I knew the place, that is. Uh-huh. He clearly doesn't believe me. That smug expression saying it all. I used to go on adventures a lot, you know. Even as a kid, I never got lost. I also had the best guide around to help me, but that's an unnecessary detail. I really don't want him to think less of me. Some may think I want to impress him, but it's not like that. It's a matter of pride more than anything. That was the time when you were the merchant's apprentice, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. We used to go everywhere together. It was really cool. High mountains, endless fields, deep forests, and huge lakes. You name it. There was this time we bathed under this huge waterfall and... Maybe you should calm down and leave that for another time. You have to go to sleep, and I must review some papers. Ah, of course. Sorry, I got carried away. Dang, I didn't even notice I was taking so much. I'm happier than I thought. I'll meet you tomorrow then, at the port. Of course, I'll try not to be late. We both smiled to each other, a silly grin in both our faces. And try to rest, your body must be very tired. He says that with a worried tone that I'm so used to by now. Then, we remain quiet. After a while of silence, the wolf nods and walks towards the door. Yeah, you too, man. See you tomorrow. The sound of the door closing marks the end of the conversation. I remain there trying to process the happiness I'm feeling. I'm one step closer to knowing the truth, and the best part is that I'll have someone as smart as Ikalis by my side. Better get to bed though. I'm sure he'll kill me if I oversleep. You're late. I'm sorry, I stayed up all night. In other words, you overslept because you were tired, and you were the one who told me to rest. I sigh and put my hands on my forehead, deeply disappointed at the wolf's sleeping habits, or better said, the non-existence of those. Ikalis' ears drop a little as I tell him off. I notice this, and not wanting to give him a harder time, I say, "It's okay, you'll sleep a little in the boat. You ready?" "Of course, let's go." The sight of the Great Lake has always captivated me. You can't even see the end of it, but unlike the sea, you know that there is an end to it. Unlike the sea, there are not deadly animals in the lake, so it's safe to take a swim. There are also no killing waves or dangerous whirlpools that will drag you down to the bottom. Just a big, calmed friend that has fed many generations of canines and has helped build the city of Yagnir. It feels big, but at the same time gives you a sensation of ease. There was a time in which I hated it, though. This lake replaced the sight of my loved forest, and the birds soon turned into seagulls. Eventually, like a pesky sibling, it grew on me. It became my home, a place to come to and relax after days of being away. Searching for her. I wonder if she's been able to enjoy it as well. I like to think that she does, and that she's here in the city. Because if she is, I will find her no matter what. Alright, lad, we'll be touching port soon. Take all your stuff with you, or I'll sell 'em myself. You hear? Thank you, Captain. I will. The man nods and then leaves. I, on the other hand, just remain there, mesmerized by the lake. If just for a little longer, I could freeze this moment. What am I even thinking? I have a whole day ahead of me. Gotta give it my all. We arrived at the 11th hour to Yagnir's port, and then it took us another hour to climb from the port to the high city central market. So by the time we made it there, It was as lively as possible. The shops were all filled with people, either trying to buy the ingredients for lunch or lunch itself. That's why there was a delicious mix of aromas in the air. I can also notice the high amount of luxurious shops around. Jewelry stores, bookshops, boutiques, and the meat. It smells fresh, unlike the ones in the lower city. The houses are also a huge shock. They are built in stone rather than wood, and they are incredibly tall. Most houses have 2 floors, and some even have 3. Everything looks cleaner as well. The paths are made of stone and not just dirt. The walls of the houses are nicely kept, and some even smell freshly painted over. There is also a fountain in the middle. The marble looks as white as cloud, and there is a nicely designed naked woman holding a jar, from which water pours. This is a whole different world. Is it really? The wolf says as he walks up to me. I look besides me, crossing my arms and raising an eyebrow at him. Well, maybe for you it's not a huge deal, but I lived in the lower city my whole life. And let me tell you, this is 100 times better compared to what we have down there. So, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. It's just, I'm kind of used to this view. He's probably right, this is normal for him, so I think it's better not to take harm by his words. Anyway, I found the inn the king told you about. It's just a few blocks away. Follow me. The wolf points towards the end of the main plaza, and then moves in that direction. I nod and follow, behind him, making sure to take a last glance at the shops. Such a shame, I really wanted to explore a little more. The innkeeper received us with a huge smile as soon as we told him that the king had a message for him. The old dog assured us that he had been waiting for months to get this letter, and he thanked us kindly for the trouble. To me, he looked like a good man, but there was something weird about his attitude, and the whole secrecy with the letter. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too paranoid. Either way, we didn't get much time to meet him properly as he insisted that there was some cleaning to be done. He told us to come back after sunset. According to him, he would have our room and a delicious meal ready for us. So, with that settled, we now have the rest of the afternoon for us. Ikalis told me that we should go to the library to investigate about the medal. And while that is a good idea, there is something else that I must do before that. I want to meet up with Mr. Biscotti. I need to make sure that the old man is fine, and I want to apologize to him. Are you sure you don't mind? You don't have to follow me if you don't want to. I told you that I would go with you, and I will. Besides, there is nothing for me to do here. For once, I managed to convince one of the bookkeepers to cover for me, and I am not wasting the opportunity to have a free day. Alright, but I better not hear any comments about how muddy or dirty the lower city is. You hear? The wolf huffs and crosses his arms, looking the other way as he feels deeply offended. Who do you take me for? I am not so shallow. I shrug it off and keep on walking, Ikalis right behind me. The day seems to be a little cloudy, but personally, I don't think it will rain until later tonight. So, we should be good. We go through a big gate and then pass a small river that divides the high city from the low one. The contrast between the two is abysmal. And now that I've seen the other side, I can't help but notice it even more. It angers me a little. But now it's not the time for this. I must focus on what I came here to do. So this is where you grew up? Ikalis asks from behind me, so I stop and turn around. The wolf keeps looking in all directions, fidgeting with his hands and even being as obvious as he looks over his shoulder. I raise an eyebrow at him, highly disappointed. If you keep doing that, you'll be an easy target. Only the people that look over their shoulder are the ones that have something valuable to protect. If you just look forward and walk fast, no one is going to even bother you. Just keep your ears peeled and make sure to pay attention to any sound. Is it really that dangerous in here? It will be if you keep acting like that. I roll my eyes and keep on walking, a scared Ikalis following closely behind me. I feel a little annoyed by his attitude, making me want to yell at him for being so judgmental. After all, we are not beasts down here, just good people trying to live a decent life. At least, most people do. But there will always be some rotten apples in the farm. And it pains me to acknowledge that I used to be one of those. That's why I can't really blame him for acting like this. The lower citizens already have a reputation, and there is no way for that to change. At least, not with things as they are right now. Only thing we can do is wait and hope that it will get a little easier the day after. And they're often not. As we get closer to our destination, a sensation in my gut starts to settle. I can't really describe it. It's like a combination of dread, guilt, and excitement. My heart is also starting to beat faster as I'm not even sure what I'm going to tell him. So what? Do I just show up and say, "Hey, Mr. Biscotti, sorry for banishing for a month, but I'm fine. Wanna eat pork and drink some beer? Yeah, great conversation starter, you idiot." "Hey, are you feeling ill?" Ikalis says as he puts his hand on my shoulder. I look back at him and give him a defeated smile. To be honest, I'm not sure. I guess I'm a little nervous. Nervous? You look like you're about to break down. That is not entirely wrong. I mean, what would you say in my place? I abandoned him for a month and I technically got arrested. I let him down so bad. The wolf places his hand on his chin and then looks into the distance, lost in thought. I raise my eyebrow at him and silently ask him, "What is it?" There's no response though. So, as I'm about to just keep walking, he speaks up. When you love someone, it doesn't matter how many days or even years they spend away from you. You will always be glad to see them safe. The feeling of finally seeing someone you love that has been away is overwhelming. He says that last line in a whisper, but I manage to hear him just fine. His eyes show a certain warmth that I've never seen before in him. But they also bear a deep sadness, and I can't help but wonder what it is. What I'm trying to say is, I wouldn't worry much. The wolf tries to be reassuring by offering me a kind smile, so I give him one of my own in return, letting him know that what he said is more than enough. What was I even thinking? This is Mr. Biscotti we're talking about. And I'm his son. There is nothing to fear. I think I'm ready. With the newfound confidence, I turn around and start walking again, even faster than before. I want to meet him. I want to see his face again. And I just want to hug him and say I'm sorry. So once I'm finally facing the entrance to the shop, I turn to Ikalis. Thank you. The wolf nods and then leans on a wall. I tilt my head up to that, and I'm about to ask him what he's doing, but he raises his hand. You should go alone. This is a personal moment. Okay, thank you. With nothing else to say, I go up loudly and then enter the shop. The first thing that I notice as I enter the shop is the smell of the dust. Which is weird because if there is something Mr. Biscotti hates, that would be dust. But he's probably been too busy attending to the shop and buying supplies to even care about cleaning. Hey, old man, I'm back. Sorry for taking so long. I call out to him, but there is no response. Maybe he went out to buy some supplies? But that's weird. Why would he leave the door unlocked then? I take a sniff around and notice that I can't smell him, owning his lingering old man scent that has been impregnated in this place for years. And now that I look closely, there's a lot of dust and some broken glass on the floor. The books aren't arranged properly and some important artifacts are missing from the shelves. Someone entered this place. But who? And why? More importantly, what happened to the old man? I desperately move around, lifting every single nook and cranny in the shop, trying to find any clues that would allow me to figure out what the hell happened here. But there is nothing. Only missing objects. No sign of a struggle, no damage aside from two bottles that broke. I keep trying to sniff around, but there's only lingering scents. Nothing revealing. Damn it, what happened here? The drawers, the shelves, even under the beds. Nothing. It doesn't matter how hard I try. There was nothing here. Not a single clue. Not a note, just an empty shop. I'm about to give up, but then... Of course! I say to myself, walking straight for the second cabinet in the wall. I push the heavy object to the side and notice that our secret hiding spot is still there. It's just a hole in the wall, but we use to store any sort of important artifacts that we come across. Getting my hand in there, I notice that there is only one thing inside of it. I quickly take it out, noticing that it's a nicely wrapped package with a note attached to it. Inspecting it, it seems to be some sort of book, but I'm more interested in the note that came with it. Unfolding it as fast as I can, I immediately notice that this is Mr. Biscotti's handwriting. It seems to be a letter, and thank the goddesses, it is addressed to me. It reads, Ehlly, my boy. My only hope is that, if you found this letter, you made your way back home safely. I'm sure you're aware of it, but things got out of hand pretty quickly. Some knights came by the other day to deliver a letter and some money from you. I'm not sure why they did it, or even how you did it, but I want you to know that I trust you. I'm aware of your goals and aspirations, and I know you're a smart kid, so if becoming the king's retainer is what you need to accomplish them, then so be it. I will always have your back, although I wish you would have told me before blowing up an entire house. In any case, I really appreciate the money. I would like to tell you that I will use it to improve the shop, but given the circumstances, it seems that I will have to use it for another trip to the forest. You see, a few days after you left, I spotted a few cloaked figures inspecting the shop. They have been here 3 times already, and one day, one of them came in asking a few questions about you. Of course, I didn't talk. But now I am worried about my safety, so I'm leaving the shop tonight. I'll go to our accorded destination and wait for you there. I'll dig out the heart and keep it safe. If I must, I will throw it into the sea as we agreed. I'll wait for you there as long as I need to, but please ease this old man's worries and send me a letter with someone you trust. And don't you dare worry about me. I will be fine. You take care of yourself, and for the love of the goddesses, stay safe. You're all I have left, and I don't want to lose you too, boy. Love you, kiddo. Petey, you never told me what you wanted for your birthday, so I got you a new travel diary. I'm sure you'll live a lot of new adventures from now on, so make sure to write them all here, so I can read them once we meet again. I drop the letter on the floor. Feeling my eyes starting to tear up, I hold the book closer to my chest, as if it was the replacement for the hug I so desperately needed. Why? Why did I have to get the old man involved in all of this? I'm such an idiot. I'm the worst son anyone could ask for. You're a fool. Yes, I am. You'll be the reason for his death. I will. And then you'll be all alone. And I'll die alone. Indeed. I start to cry. My legs give up on me and I end up on the floor. Screaming wouldn't solve a thing, but I really want to do that. Punching something wouldn't help either, but I feel like breaking everything around me. The voice in my head keeps on talking, injecting negative thoughts inside of me. But this time, I feel like I deserve it. I'm such a scumbag. A piece of trash that doesn't deserve happiness. I don't. Not one bit. You break everything you touch. You hurt everyone you know. Tell me, why should someone like you be alive at all? I don't know. Why am I alive? Why is this happening to me? You know why. Yes, I do. It's all my fault, as I keep on messing up every time. Maybe I should Maybe if I just... As my brain is about to take me even further down into the abyss, I hear a noise coming from one of the windows. It came from my room. I immediately compose myself and hide beside the doorframe, grabbing a candle that I found nearby and readying up for battle. The footsteps grow louder, and I even manage to hear a little humming on the other side. This person seems to be taking sweet time checking out my room, but eventually I hear them stop in front of the door. Slowly, the door creaks open. As soon as this person comes out, I hit him hard on the head with a candle. He stumbles back and I grab him by the collar, pinning him on the wall. And to fuel my anger even more, I finally notice who it is. You little shit! Give me a fucking reason why I shouldn't break your neck right now! What? What? Why did you come back? Boy, you should have told... A reason, Pat. A fucking reason. Why are you here? The guy squirms as I push him harder into the wall. I have one of my arms on his little neck, while the other is holding the candle. I'm trying not to force myself too hard on him, giving him room to breathe and talk. I was just looking after the shop, of course. After all, no one was here. Someone had to take care of things. You fucking liar. I swear I'll kill you, man. Don't fuck with me. Oh, okay. I'm just here to loot, White. I swear. The place was empty and even the door was left open. You bastard. What happened here? I don't know. Don't lie, Pat. I'm not. I swear. Even if you say that, I don't think I can trust a rat like you. After all, you and I still have some unfinished business between us. Why the fuck did you leave me there that day, huh? Why? If you had been keeping watch as you were supposed to, none of this would have happened. None of it! The little guy seems about to shit himself. He's trembling and won't even dare to look at me in the eye. I'm sorry, White. I swear it wasn't intentional. He's lying. I know. He's plotted against you. And he made you suffer. He did. It was his fault that all of this happened. Yeah, you're right. It is his fault. He should suffer. He should. Pal? Tight. White? The rage inside of me starts to build up as a hellfire. Unable to stop it, I press his little and fragile neck even harder. I want to hurt him so bad. I couldn't care less about what he has to say. I'm not even thinking clearly at this point. You want to kill him? I do. Then do it. Kill him. I'll kill you. I'll fucking kill you! I lift the candle in the air. All the rage, sorrow, fright, and loneliness that I have been feeling this past month are gathered inside of me. I want to see him bleed, see him on the floor begging for his life. Make him suffer. Die! Eli, stop! I hear Ikalis' voice coming from the door. I look away from Pat and notice a frightened-looking Ikalis standing by the entrance of the shop. My grip on Pat lessens, and his unconscious body drops to the floor. I look down with fear, and I see that the little guy is not moving. I take a few steps back. All the anger now turns into shame as I notice Ikalis' eyes judging me. No, stop. That wasn't me. That... Leaning on a wall, I end up dropping on the floor. My legs are shaking and my head is starting to hurt a lot. I feel like all my body is burning and I can't help but feel out of breath. The wolf quickly runs to our side but ignores me to check on Pat. He crouches beside him, placing 2 fingers on his neck. As he finishes, he sighs relieved and then looks back at me. He is alive, just unconscious. I didn't... My eyes soon start to tear up once more. I feel tired, stupid, and utterly broken. All is my fault. I keep messing up over and over again. Eli, what happened? I don't know. I just don't. Please, try. Those eyes of his, so judgy, so unfair. He wasn't there. He wouldn't understand. He wouldn't get it. I'm all alone. Ehlly, please try. You can trust me. Ikalis' soft paw touches my shoulder and I finally get a good look at his eyes. Those aren't the eyes of someone who is judging you. Those are the eyes of someone who is worried and wants to help. So I just break. I start crying uncontrollably as I explained what happened. I tell him about the letter, the intrusion, the overwhelming anger, what happened with Pat before, and why I hated him so much. I just spoke and spoke until I couldn't speak anymore. And the wolf, he just listened. He didn't say a thing. He didn't judge me or blame me. He just sat there, listening to my story. And at the end of it, when all my tears had stopped, he offered me his handkerchief. Here, wipe your tears and let's get out of here. He'll be fine, just a little sore. Better not to be here when he wakes up. I nod and try to get up, but my knees feel weak, and I just go back to the floor. Here, let me help you. The wolf wraps my arm around his shoulder and helps me stand up. Then we just leave everything behind us. The shop, Pat, and the anger. To be continued. Oof, Ehlly, Ehlly, Ehlly. What have you done? I wonder, had you succumbed to cheating during the match, like using pocket sand, if you would have gone further and had Ikalis not been able to stop you, because it appears that whatever this darkness is influencing Ehlly a little more. Hopefully it's not a bug and it turns out that he would not have done this had, everything worked out. But anyways, yeah. So yeah. Hopefully this also doesn't, tarnish the image that Ikalis has of Ehlly. Because, he explained more or less why he's angry, why he was about to do what he was about to do. So hopefully he understands, So what are your thoughts, person that picked Ikalis? Wow, that was an intense one, wasn't it? Who would have thought that such a tiny fox could have that much rage inside of him? Although that voice he hears, I wonder what that is. You guys have your theories. Let me read them in our Discord server. I'm always more than willing to interact with you all. Anyway, that's it for this update. I hope you liked it. We made a bunch of new stuff for this one, and I couldn't be happier about how it all turned out. I worked a lot on this update, in case you didn't notice. Hee. I decided to write the 3 routes at the same time, but from the next update forward, we will develop one per update. That will allow me to make each route feel as special as possible and to add more unique assets to them. Oh, and before I forget, how about you go back to Eddie's fight? I'm sure you'll see something you'll like. And in case you already did, what do you think of it? You like it? Also, special thanks to my besties, Luz, Stroke, and Garo, who helped me create and code the new game UI. Love you guys. Man, I can't believe a year has passed since I started this project. Thank you all for sticking with me, for real. It means a lot that you decided to read it. Of course, special thanks to all my Patreons. This would not be possible without your support. You guys really are the best. Well, I ran out of things to say. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter if you want to stay updated on the new Heart of Amethyst content. Or if you just want to see me being silly online. That is also a valid reason to follow me. Have a great day. See you next time.